who will be feeling the burn tonight as Memphis City Council votes on the fire department's raise.
I know several firefighters. They definitely aren't underpaid. They just aren't getting what they wanted. But we don't have the money to do that. And Memphians are going to suffer.
Oh, it's there. It is there. It's not going to affect anything.
Will the Memphis Fire Department finally get their promised wish for a raise? The decision straight ahead, plus scared to leave.
Persecution against this particular community is terrorizing and continues to terrorize everybody from adults to children.
Business is slowing down for Memphis's Hispanic and Latino community because of ICE and task force operations, how they're meeting their customers where they are, and medical movement downtown.
We need to invest back into this facility so that it'll be here for future generations.
A new Regional 1 hospital is another step closer to reality. Tonight at 6, an exclusive look at the plans that could hopefully bring more life to downtown Memphis, only on 5.
From the station taking action for you, Action News 5 at 6 starts now.
Breaking news alert, the Memphis City Council has approved a 2% raise for Memphis Fire employees. That vote coming down just minutes ago. Good evening and thanks for joining Action News 5 at 6. I'm Noah Sershin. Now this comes after controversial comments were made by a city councilwoman comparing the fire union asking for their raise to rape. Action News 5's Imani Williams joins us live from outside City Hall. And Imani, tell us more about the conversations that went around this vote.
So like you said, there was a lot of conversation before this vote happened. Councilman Carlisle, he talked a lot about how the money is just not there in the city's budget. He said it's not feasible financially for the city to approve this raise for the firefighters, but we know that that vote, they did approve it. Now the vote was 8 yes, 3 no, and then 2 abstain. Now the 3 people that voted no was Yolanda Cooper Sutton, also Carlisle, and then also Pearl Walker. She also voted no. Now, there was also Edmund Ford Sr. He said that the money is there. He said that they need to go ahead and approve this raise and get the conversation done. He said that they have talked about this for several weeks and they wanted to just go ahead and give that raise. Now, we did speak with the union president of the Memphis Firefighters Association just after this vote was made. He said he is glad that they did approve this raise for the firefighters. He added that the lawsuit that was filed against the city council, they will talk to their lawyers to see if that will continue. I'll have more from him and city council members tonight at 10. But for now, live downtown, Imani Williams, Action News 5.
All right, Imani, we'll talk to you later. As always, here's a look at the numbers from the Memphis Safe Task Force since they've arrived right here in the Bluff City. And you can see right here, they've arrested more than 4,100 people. That's according to U.S. Marshals. Around 1 in 10 people are affiliated in gangs. The task force says they've uncovered more than 600 illegal guns and arrested more than 1,800 people on warrants. Meanwhile, Hispanic and Latino organizations say that the task force and ICE operations are having an impact on their families and businesses. Action News 5's Michaela Redman rode along with La Prensa Latina and explains how this difficult time has also shown the community's resilience.
This restaurant's been down, some in business. Imagen Latina is another local hair salon that's been here for many years. People know them, but they having conversations with them, they've also kind of been down.
Jairo Arguijo is the CEO of La Prensa Latina. He says since Memphis Safe Task Force operations began and more people are being detained by ICE, this is becoming a familiar sight across Hispanic and Latino businesses. Lots of empty parking spaces with even fewer people traveling inside.
We're seeing it, from every aspect, from retail, hospitality industry. We're seeing it from the labor force, you name it.
I also spoke with Iris Mercado with the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition and Mauricio Calvo with Latino Memphis, who say Hispanic and Latino families have told them they're hiding at home and are always on edge.
This persecution against this particular community is terrorizing and continues to terrorize everybody from adults to children.
Patterns of paranoia, of just fear, having to explain to kids what is happening and why parents are staying home or not letting them go outside and hang out with their friends. And it's those patterns that are going to have a long-term effect.
Arguijo tells me that despite the challenges the community is facing, he says it's only made them more versatile. Many businesses like Amelia's grocery store are now offering to-go orders, delivery, and even DoorDash.
For all of these restaurants and other stores using technology in their favor and using a strong media presence like social media and anything that they can to say, hey, we're still going to take care of you, it's just going to look different now.
A heartbreaking situation, instead highlighting the resiliency of Hispanic and Latino communities. Reporting in Memphis, Michaela Redmond, Action News 5.
Michaela, thanks. And earlier today on A Better Memphis, County Mayor Lee Harris blamed the Memphis Safe Task Force for decreasing activity on Beale. Harris also called out Sheriff Floyd Bonner on issues at the jail. Hear that in my full report later in this newscast. Also all new at 6, the Memphis Safe Task Force made 2 big arrests yesterday, taking a documented gang member off the streets. The task force members tried to stop a vehicle before 5:30 on Denver Street and Loretta Avenue. 4 people ran from the car. Agents were able to catch 2 of the people who ran, 21-year-old Lakiva Anderson and 18-year-old Eddie Scott. When they searched the car, they found a loaded firearm. Police also found a backpack with another gun and drugs. Now both are charged with evading and drug and gun possession. Caught on camera, we're getting new video tonight that shows the moments a man pointed a gun at employees at One and Only Barbecue. The robbery happened just after 6. Officers were told an employee was approached by an armed man with a gun outside the restaurant. He made the employees go back inside and forced them to hand over money from the cash register. The suspect left One and Only in one of the employees' cars that was found later. Now take a good look at him in this video. He's wearing a dark-colored hoodie and pants with a mask. Call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH with any tips. Alright, this is just a really bizarre story coming to us from Covington. A man already detained in handcuffs thought he could make a run for another chance at freedom. Folks, take a look at this video. This happened yesterday when they were serving a search warrant for Davian Dugan Johnson. He violated his probation. Police say he simply just took off running. Officers set up a perimeter forcing Johnson to surrender. He's now charged with escape, violation of theft, vandalism, evading, and resisting. He's being held in the Tipton County Jail without bond. Now, Chief Donna Turner says that this is a good reminder that attempting to flee law enforcement is never a good idea. Statistics from the Memphis Police Department is showing that crime is dropping in the city. That's according to data from MPD. It's down 43% in November compared to this time last year. They shared these findings at a morning city council committee meeting. Breaking these numbers down further, murders are down 26% and motor vehicle thefts are down a dramatic 42%.
Just imagine if we had an additional 400 officers. That visibility is these federal resources. And that visibility is not enforcement from a heavy hand. That is soft visibility in places that discourage people from committing crimes.
Chief Davis says the increase of law enforcement visibility because of the Memphis Safe Task Force is helping to drive down crime. And look, as we've mentioned earlier in this newscast, the task force has made over 4,000 arrests, adding on to the problems at 201 Poplar. And now the blame game continues between Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner and County Mayor Lee Harris. Today, Harris stopped by Action News 5 to speak on A Better Memphis about problems going on at 201. And this comes just a day after the county mayor called Bonner, quote, real snowflakes who get offended very easily.
Tonight, it's been 6 days since convicted rapist Cameron Brooks was mistakenly released from 201 Poplar, making this the second inmate freed on accident. Sheriff Floyd Bonner had blamed that mistake on the jail's IT department. However, County Mayor Lee Harris says it's all the sheriff's fault.
I just want him to shape up. I want the jail crisis to end.
Mayor Harris said that he had lunch with the sheriff in August offering to help, which counters what the sheriff said in an interview 10 days ago.
Or asked him, how could I help, and so forth. And we talked it over and that kind of thing, broke bread. And immediately, not 5-10 minutes after that lunch ended, he went to the press and just blamed everybody for all the things that were happening at the jail.
In just this year, 12 inmates have died at 201 Poplar. Now Harris thinks that it's time for some intervention from the state.
Maybe we can take training out of his responsibility area, and maybe the state could come in and retrain his officers and establish a better structure for leadership there.
In an earlier interview with Action News 5, Sheriff Bonner said that when Mayor Harris asked for help with the jail from the state, it let Bonner down.
One of the most disappointing things is what he said the state should take over the jail.
But as this blame game continues to play out, Harris hopes changes are on the horizon.
We want the crisis to end, we want the death count to end, and we want to see some reforms.
No assertion, Action News 5.
Now, for some transparency here, we tried to reach out to Sheriff Bonner for this story, but we did not hear back. To watch the full interview with Mayor Harris, click on the Better Memphis tab on our website, actionnews5.com.
If you look at the Best Care Home Services camera in Midtown Memphis towards downtown Memphis, not really much going on right now, and that's A-okay, I think, in the eyes of most people. We are going to see even more clouds move over the Mid-South as we head deeper into tonight, but notice our temperatures are really not going to fluctuate all that much here. If anything, they could climb a degree or two as we move into the very early morning hours of Wednesday. Speaking of which, eventually some showers will return too. Notice rain chances this evening, they are extremely low, but once we start to bump back after about 4 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday morning, that's when those rain chances are going to increase here. Not expecting anything crazy out of this, but I think we have an even better chance of showers as we roll into Thursday. I'm going to talk more about that full extended 10-day forecast with your First Alert forecast coming up at 6:17.
Thanks, Eric. We'll see you soon. We're getting a new look at proposed legislation in Tennessee. We're now less than a month out from the next legislative session. A bill sponsored by John Ray Clemens would expand penalties for drag racing. It would allow cities to pass ordinances to allow law enforcement to take or temporarily hold cars involved in drag racing. They could impound that vehicle for up to 5 days, and the owner could pay for any towing and storage fees. And a bill proposed by Mary Littleton would make it a felony to knowingly train AI to encourage people to commit homicide or suicide, or to develop emotional relationships or emulate a human being. Now, if it passes, people who break this law could be sentenced to 15 years, and their victims could potentially sue them. Well, only on 5, top brass at Regional 1 says that plans are going full steam ahead for an all-new hospital at the site of the former Commercial Appeal building. Demolition of the former newspaper building will begin in the spring of 2026. Regional 1 CEO Dr. Reginald Coopwood showed computer-generated renderings of the planned hospital at the Memphis Rotary Club meeting. The Shelby County Commission approved $500 million as part of the foundational phase of the hospital funding plan. Coopwood says he's confident that the operations, foundations, and private individuals will donate more money to give Memphis and Shelby County the kind of health care it deserves.
And what we want people to understand is we need to invest back into this facility so that it'll be here for future generations to be able to take great care into the future beyond what we see today.
Coopwood added that third-party payers would deliver a projected $150 million to the new hospital's funding. Regional 1 will receive $0 from the state of Tennessee, even after 2 years of pitching the hospital to the state. Coopwood says Regional 1 will approach lawmakers for funding help in the new year. Well, next at 6, he didn't do it.
You are putting all of them in the same pot as being a party to a particular act, an allegation.
A defense attorney representing a man in connection to the Lake County murders says his client is innocent. The piece of evidence, he says, will clear his client's name. Plus, Turning Point, turning to high schools to grow their audience. Well, Governor Lee thinks about clubs being put in every high school and the opposition it's getting from educators. And video of a military strike won't be released to the public. Ahead, what lawmakers on Capitol Hill are saying about transparency around this situation.
Action News 5 at 6 is sponsored by Best Care Plumbing. When it comes to heating your air, you deserve the best. From the station taking action for you. You're watching Action News 5 at 6.
Well, it was a case that rocked West Tennessee over the summer. 4 family members killed and a baby girl spared. And the man at the center of the case, Austin Drummond, led law enforcement on a days-long manhunt. And now the attorney of one of the men charged in connection to this case says his client didn't do it. Ashlyn Swinia reports.
Eric Wise is currently charged with 4 counts of accessory after the fact. This charge means prosecutors believe Wise knew Austin Drummond killed 4 individuals in Lake County and that Wise helped Drummond while he was on the run from law enforcement. Wise's defense attorney, Dr. Bede Anyawu, says his client is innocent and he did not know about the murders.
He didn't kill anybody. More so, Mr. Drummond They have to prove that he actually killed those individuals before they could actually charge my client with accessory after the fact. That is the law in Tennessee.
He also says Wise has a child with another defendant in the case and that Wise has no connection to Drummond.
Being at the wrong time, at the wrong place at the wrong time, or being in association with somebody, and now you are putting all of them in the same pot as being a party to a particular act, an allegation. That's why he's being charged.
Dr. Inyawu said prosecutors accuse Wise of purchasing a cell phone for Drummond while he was on the run. However, he says Wise had no money to buy a phone for Drummond. The court gave a deadline date of January the 16th, 2026 to agree on a plea agreement. However, Wise plans to plead not guilty and go to trial.
We are not going to plead to something he didn't do. Any other person can go and fly off the moon. As far as my client is concerned, nothing other than total exoneration.
The trial dates have been set, and Dr. Inyawu says they are ready to fight the case.
We are ready to go to trial, and we are ready to go and rock and roll.
Wise is currently being held in the Madison County Jail on a $250,000 bond. Dr. Inyawu said he believes the bond is too high and plans to file a motion to try and get the bond reduced.
That was Ashlyn Swinia reporting. The case is expected to go to trial in early May of next year. Looking ahead to tomorrow, that's the day when the woman convicted of killing her lover, Pastor Brodus Perry, will learn how much time she will serve. Latasha Daniels was found guilty in November of murdering the pastor and injuring his wife. Under Tennessee law, she could face 13.5 to 60 years for the murder charge and up to 11 months for attempted reckless endangerment. A doctor who pleaded guilty in a scheme to provide ketamine to actor Matthew Perry has been sentenced. Mark Chavez was sentenced to 8 months of home confinement. A federal judge just sentenced Mark Chavez to 3 years of supervised release. Perry died from an overdose in 2023. Chavez acquired ketamine and gave it to Dr. Salvador Placenta, who sold it to Perry. He was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison earlier this month. And moving back home, a judge could decide whether a lawsuit against an Ole Miss chancellor will go forward. It's a case we've told you about for a while, when right-winged activist Charlie Kirk was killed. Lauren Stokes shared a social media post about his death. She was then fired. The Chancellor Glenn Boyce said the comments, quote, run completely counter to our institutional values, end quote. Stokes sued the chancellor, demanding she gets her job back, saying her First Amendment rights were violated. Boyce filed to have the case dismissed. Also staying on Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA is looking to bring a chapter to every high school right here in Tennessee. The organization was created by Charlie Kirk before he was killed earlier this year. It focuses on pushing conservative politics on college campuses. Now they're working with the state to add those chapters in high school. Critics say the teachings of Turning Point, as well as founder Charlie Kirk, could promote hate in schools, especially against immigrants and LGBTQ+ students. The organization also creates a list of professors that promote liberal viewpoints. Governor Lee says support of Turning Point is support of free speech.
That organization's primary focus is to engage people in the practice of discourse and having conversations with constituents, even if they don't agree. And I've always been one who said, you know, we're not all going to agree on things. We need to learn how to disagree better.
Multiple teachers and a state employee have filed free speech lawsuits against the state and school boards for speaking out against Kirk's beliefs. As of now, the Pentagon says it won't release full video of the strike on a suspected drug boat. Members of Congress watched the video today in a full briefing. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the video is top secret and won't be shown to the public. It happened in September and involved 2 strikes. The first took out most of the crew except for 2 survivors who clung to the wreckage. A second strike killed those 2 members, prompting questions about the operation's legality.
The American people need and deserve to see these videos. The failure to provide them, I think, undermines the trust and credibility of this entire operation.
The least of my concerns is this friggin' video. Release it, make your own decisions. This is lawful. I have every confidence that what they're doing is no different than what Bush did.
President Trump initially said it was okay if the video was released. He walked that back a few days later and even denied that he ever said it.
far as we have coming up on Wednesday morning here across the Mid-South, we will see temperatures stay, I don't want to say elevated, but with respect to average, they are going to be above average. Middle to lower 40s and upper 30s for overnight lows. Notice that we do have a 30% chance of showers from 5 a.m. through 9 o'clock in the morning. And with temperatures being that warm, we are anticipating these to be rain showers and not any sort of wintry mix or anything like that. I'm going to start you off here with Futurecast at 4 o'clock in the morning. Notice the green on your screen near Holly Springs over into Lee and Phillips County in Arkansas. That's rain showers, and we expect that area to kind of get a bit bigger here as we get closer to 7 o'clock in the morning. So if you live, say, over in South Haven or Olive Branch, Holly Springs, and you commute towards Memphis or into Germantown, Covington, Millington, you probably will be encountering some showers that will be around, especially in northern Mississippi during that Wednesday morning commute here. A lot of these should be out of here by the noon hour. Meteorologist Patrick Ellis, he'll be giving you that radar update here starting at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Nonetheless, as the rest of Wednesday does continue, a lot of clouds around the Mid-South. It's going to look like it will rain for the majority of the day, but I really do believe once we get past the noon hour, dry weather conditions should prevail. And temperatures, they're not exactly going to be warm, but we'll be back into the 50s yet again. So I think the cold days that we saw just going back to yesterday and Sunday, I think we're going to avoid that here probably through the rest of 2025. Wednesday's afternoon highs, 55 for Memphis, 57 in Senatobia, 55 in Bolivar, 57 degrees for an afternoon high in Blytheville, Arkansas. Plenty of clouds around. Showers will be generally along and south of I-40 with an emphasis in northern Mississippi, as well as Phillips and Lee counties. And since we do have those showers in the forecast here for tomorrow, really do encourage you to download the Action News 5 First Alert weather app so you can track those showers with interactive radar. Now, Thursday's chance of rain, that's quite a bit greater, as you can see, compared to Wednesday. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see severe weather or anything crazy come about with that. And then notice for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, rain chances, they start to flounder a little bit here. But with that said, keeping a closer eye on Thursday because we do have a level 1 out of 5 with the severe weather risk here across the Mid-South. It's only a marginal risk, but still one I want to point out here. And the biggest potential issue out of this, I think, is going to be winds over anything else. Not worried about a tornado risk, not worried about a hail threat, really winds. And yes, we could see some flooding just because, well, you know, when we get some of these showers to kind of stack on top of each other for a while, you can rack up a quick inch of rain. Nonetheless, for Thursday in the morning, nothing really much going on, but the afternoon and evening hours, that's when we see the actual line move through. So watch out for your Thursday morning or your Thursday evening commute home from work. Could be seeing a bit of wet weather conditions across the Mid-South. Cooler conditions expected for Friday, but notice from Saturday through all next week, temperatures stay into the 60s.
Thanks, Eric. Tonight at 10, calls for accountability and uniformity in the state of Mississippi. Hear concerns about how children are treated inside courtrooms and improvements the governor wants to see. And still ahead at 6, the latest November jobs report is out. A look at new numbers that show that hiring is slowing down across the country.
From the station taking action for you. You're watching Action News 5 at 6.
Well, the record number of whooping cough cases continues to grow in the natural state. Here's a look at the latest numbers. The Arkansas Department of Health says 489 cases of whooping cough have been reported this year as of December 2nd. That's the most cases since 2013, which saw 464, the most in 15 years. 415 of those cases have been reported in people under the age of 20. In financial news, the U.S. labor market is showing further signs of cooling as the latest job report shows unemployment rising to 4.6%. That's the highest level in the last 4 years. There is some good news, however, as payrolls continue to climb, 64 new jobs last month. Better than the forecast, but the report also showed a net loss of 105,000 jobs in October. That marks the third time the economy shed jobs in the last 6 months. Assistant teachers in Mississippi are making less money on average than fast food workers. That revelation coming from the state auditor's office. The auditor said that only 6 of the nearly 800 jobs tracked by the Mississippi Department of Employment Security pay less. According to a report from the National Education Association in May, Mississippi's average teacher salary ranked the lowest in the country. Oh, and don't forget, Action News 5 is your home to watch select Grizz games. Watch the Beale Street Bears take on the Washington Wizards Saturday, December 20th at 7 p.m. Coverage starts at 6:30. Join Kelly Cook, Matt Enfield, and Eric Brill for Action News 5 Weekend at 10. And Eric joins us now for a final look at our forecast.
Could see a couple of showers early in the morning, especially northern Mississippi. We'll be talking more about that coming up here at 10 o'clock. But overall, temperatures should not be as cold over the next 10 days compared to the past couple of days.
All right, thank you, Eric, and thank you all for watching Action News 5 at 6. We'll have more on the Memphis City Council approving that raise for firefighters and a preview of the Tigers in the Gasparilla Bowl. We'll see you tonight. Have a great evening. Wheel of Fortune is next.
Stream Action News 5 for free on actionnews5.com, on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. Sponsored by Bill Malone with Crylike Realtors, an experienced realtor always striving for excellence and integrity in real estate sales. Call 901-359-4000 or 901-756-8900.